not sitting back and going, this isn't working. It's going, jump in, what can we do? What can we do to change this? What can we do to move forward? And then was lucky enough to get this role at Embrace, which to me feels full circle because it was at Alcohol Concern, where I'm housed now, that I trained as an accredited alcohol counsellor. So it's there's some symmetry here. And I just want to say that today, listening to the guys talking and certainly listening to you, Sue, as well, we're in the same business. We've got the same client group. It's something that when I worked in the crime drugs unit, that some people thought we had separate clients out there, people out there. We didn't. We're working with the community, and these are complex issues. And I just get such a strong sense from what you're telling me about your organisation, which, as I say, it was like, yeah, this works. Okay, let me just. I'm going to throw things up here, but I'm not going to go into detail. I want you to just have a little bit of a background of some of the things, the reasons why Embrace came into operation, which was around about 18 months ago, but I think the conception was 5 years ago. And in that 5 years, some things have changed and moved on, so we've had to be quite proactive and get in there and acknowledge the changes and shift. One of the main things, I think, for us is about partnership working. I mean, I'm very clear, having been a practitioner, I'm not the expert in everything. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not very good at as well, which I think is quite useful sometimes. But I know where to go to get that expertise to support the complex needs of my client base. And so part of what we're talking about is not, going to alcohol services and saying you've got to be a specialist now in domestic abuse and child protection. That is dead scary. That's not what it's about. It's about saying there are services out there in your locality that you can link in with. And I think Graham was saying, get out there and meet the person. Absolutely the right thing, although sometimes it's debatable. I think you guys, but it is. I mean, this is the thing. It's putting a face to that name and knowing that at that hour when you've got that call coming through, or you've got that person sat there, who can I contact? So one of the things that's really bubbling under the surface now, but it has been going for a little while, is some of you guys have said, it's working with the whole family. So we're just kind of, we're working with that, but we're also trying to say that what we have to do is remember that domestic abuse can be an issue with this client group. I think women are 15 times more likely to use alcohol if they've had domestic abuse as an issue. Now, I'm not here to argue the debate of alcoholism, alcohol dependency. I don't mind what way you want to look at it, but the statistics are very clear. High instance of domestic abuse, perpetrators who drink before perpetrating violence and during, but women most often, and victims, and there are male victims, drinking after. And I think sometimes this is the area where being very clear about what's really going on here, what's underneath this. I think, as you were saying, Kevin, it's about their whole life. It's not, we've got the drink, we've got the substance, we've got the coping mechanism, what's going on underneath. It isn't just about stopping that drinking or managing it, it's what else is happening and shifting to a safe place, certainly for the client group. And being aware of parental problem drinking. If you've got parent drinking, I think, Sue, were you saying, you're highlighting, what does that mean as far as being a parent's concerned? What are the issues? What's not happening? But building on the positives, reminding the parent why they're a parent and what's happening, building on those resilience levels. I don't like going through all the statistics. I want to make sure you've kind of got this there, and I've spoken to Graham. Graham's going to email this over to anyone who wants background information here. So as I've said, we're currently what we're doing is we're working with 9 pilot sites nationally. Very eclectic mix. We've got one that's BME focused in London, homelessness unit and alcohol service, and obviously a peer-led service as well. Quite, a lovely mix. But the positives are that they have got strengths in different areas, and that can be disseminated throughout the 9 sites. So once again, modelling that whole thing of, you're not an expert on everything. These are things that we're good at. How can we share our practice? How can we move forward together? That's not always easy in the beginning. What we're talking about is services It's not just about taking on some new practice, it's learning. Learning's a tough thing. I don't like it. It puts me in a place of vulnerability. Change, it puts you in a place of vulnerability. I know my defences can be, yeah, I know that anyway. Why did I say that? It's because I want to defend myself against looking like I don't know something. And that's the thing when you're working in practice. It can be a bit scary when new things come on board. But it can grow organically, and I think, you know, that's the thing that I pick up from, you know, what you guys are doing here. Policies and procedures, obviously key to, I think you talked about that earlier, Graham. You know, the first thing we want to do with our services is say, these are the safe policies and procedures to go ahead and do this work. They may differ slightly from the ones that you currently have. Just let's make sure that those things in place before we go off and do that practice. So before we start screening for domestic abuse, have we got the clear policies around confidentiality? Do our staff know them? Do they know what they're doing? You know, I'm aware that when I was working, I knew there were confidentiality policies and child protection policies. Had I read them? No, not really. We need to get in there and read them. What do they say? How do they work? And if they're not working, why aren't they working? What do we need to do to improve it? So that's kind of some of the stuff that we're doing with our services. When we talk about child protection, I mean, you know, I did go and work for the NSPCC, so that was clearly child protection. But I guess when you're working for an adult treatment service, it's not, and I certainly know when I was training, I wasn't really thinking whether they were parents or not. I was working with this person around their alcohol problem. And I'm very aware that I didn't really think about whether they were a parent or not. Now I do, and I can see why it's so important. But while I was going through that transitional phase, I was thinking, well, I don't know what to do about that. What do I know about child protection? I can't, you know, we kind of know the child protection procedures, but it's not about that, it's backtracking. Actually what it's about is the 5 areas. It's about well-being, it's about health, it's about nurturing a family's values, systems, building resilience, and that can very clearly be done. And I think that's something to remember. Yep, we get all the sort of, you know, this is what's happening, these are all the tough stuff that goes on with the family when a parent's drinking, but there are resiliences and there are success stories. And I think if you work together, I think that's the key to doing that. So we're not working with our services saying, this is just child protection, this is parental support to develop their, you know, their skills with their children, and remembering why they're parents. So regular meal times. It sounds like simple things, but it makes a hell of a difference. They're the little things that get lost. I think I've kind of addressed some of this. I'm a rebel. I go from one thing to another. I don't read that. I think, you know, again, you know, going back to some of the work that I've done, I'm very aware of just thinking it's too much. I can't deal with it. I don't want to look at it. But it's taking it one step at a time, one thing at a time. And what we're doing with our services is we're very lucky. We've got a very good team around us. Sarah Gavani, Wendy Robinson, specialists in the field of domestic abuse and alcohol and child protection, children's wellbeing. They're the guys who are training our 9 pilot sites. I'm working alongside them. I'm you know, consulting with the pilot sites and keeping in touch with them in that way. And the idea is just to keep developing that practice, encourage that practice so that people feel confident in what they're doing, and to disseminate that throughout their teams, which is what these guys are doing.